In February last year, floodwater swallowed Leonie Baxter's front stairs and rose halfway up her walls.
So this, I've kept a marker in here. I thought it was important to be able to remind myself of how intense the whole experience was, and this is the height of the water, and this whole area here I haven't cleaned off.
She survived the night by clambering into a loft bed, but the trauma lingers.
I can't be here by myself. I get, if it rains or anything like that, I feel really out of my comfort zone.
Last year, the New South Wales and federal governments announced a buyback scheme to get the most vulnerable residents out of danger.
Responding to this is going to cost billions of dollars, but it's the right thing to do.
In briefings and community meetings, Northern Rivers residents were told the scheme would buy, raise or repair around 6,000 homes, almost every damaged house in the region. 7:30 confirmed this with the head of the Northern Rivers Reconstruction Corporation in February. So 2,000 buybacks, 2,000 home raises, 2,000 resilient refits. Is that the rough numbers?
Yeah, that's it in terms of the ballpark for the program, yeah.
That is not what has happened. The billions of dollars for homes became $700 million in state and federal cash, plus around $100 million in flood funding from this year's state budget. Talk of 6,000 homes was an error.
There was a subsequent miscommunication by the New South Wales government that said there would be up to 6,000 homes. We've acknowledged that in the past that was wrong, and I think not only is it wrong, but it's very detrimental to the well-being of people in the Northern Rivers to have been told one thing in one case and another thing in another case.
The accurate figure is around 1,100 buybacks and 400 homes raised or repaired. One of the many who has missed out is Leonie Baxter. Leonie's house is just a few hundred metres from the river, but she's now been rejected for a buyback, house raising, or even a fit-out with water-resistant materials.
Nothing. I'm not eligible for anything.
In this part of South Lismore, the logic of who gets help and who misses out is unfathomable.
The silver roof is being, it's been offered a raise or a retrofit. The house next door to it has been offered a buyback. The house directly next door to me, he has been offered a lift or a retrofit.
Lismore's Mayor, Steve Krieg, whose flood-damaged restaurant has only just reopened, sees the confusion of flood survivors.
They're literally clinging for their lives and their grandkids' lives, and they're not eligible for anything, not eligible for a retrofit of their house, because the mapping that all of the buybacks and the house raising was based on is historical data, not the most recent 2022 data.
And I mean, I'm finding it very confusing. And as somebody said to me, it's like pin the tail on the donkey. Nobody knows what's going on until the next announcement is made.
It's all based on risk to life, but there's really two criteria. One is the expected height that a flood would get to in the most likely scenarios, but also the velocity of the water, which obviously creates more danger for the occupants of those premises.
So far, 632 buyback offers have been made to Northern Rivers residents, but progress has been slower than hoped. In February, David Witherden said all residents would soon be told whether their homes would be eligible for buyback.
Our commitment is at the outside, by the middle of this year, everybody will know.
That deadline has come and gone, and so has David Witherden. He resigned in August, and the organisation that he led, the Northern Rivers Reconstruction Corporation, has been dissolved. The owner of this flood wreck, though, is still here still waiting to find out what might happen to his home.
Oh, hey Kel, how you doing? It's Chris Regan. I'm at 105 Crown Street, South Lismore. I was just wondering, any possibility you could tell me when the assessment was going to happen on my house?
Chris Regan's home was wrecked.
So it begins. Well, fire's come at the right time. Just got all the insulation out. There goes the kitchen sink.
But he does not know if he'll be offered a buyback. He's still waiting for an assessor to inspect his house.
They just tell you to hurry up and wait, and you finally start dealing with someone who tries to give you a bit of help, and then it just changes to another person.
Chris Regan's neighbour, Joe Groves, is getting a buyback.
It just seems incredibly haphazard. Whilst I'm incredibly grateful and pleased that I'm being offered a buyback, I don't understand why the highest house in the street, has been offered one when my direct neighbours have heard nothing.
It's a much longer process, I think, than people expected, because you're doing something, we're doing something really disruptive. We're going into communities, we're offering to buy their homes, and it's often very welcome. But having sold their home, people are then faced with what are they going to do with how are they going to re-establish themselves, how are they going to re-establish their lives.
One consequence of the slow pace of buyback offers, people have given up waiting.
There have been a few houses in our street that have been sold and bought, in 2 cases, by people from out of town since the flood. So, they're going to be, in my opinion, the next lot of traumatised South Lismore residents when the next flood comes.
As some of her South Lismore neighbours go to extraordinary lengths to get out of danger, Leonie Baxter will have to take her chances. With time, she may eventually feel safe.
So hopefully that, in another year or 2, I'll be able to stay here by myself and that everything will be okay. But I'll never spend another flood here, ever. That is set in stone in my mind.